on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A partly to mostly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester and Lakin Dew Russell. After a very workable type weekend, a lot of activities all around the Great Lakes Bay Area, and of course your front yard and backyard. I'm sure a lot of you got some work done. We didn't have much of anything in the way of rain shower activity. Yesterday was a little warm. We started off with plenty of clouds, and it actually felt a little on the cool side for a good part of the day on Saturday. But once the sun came out, things began to warm up rather nicely. And on Sunday, with plenty of sun, temperatures worked their way up pretty close to 90 degrees. Some of you did hit 90. Out at the airport, we peaked out at 88 yesterday afternoon, right around 5 o'clock, 5:30, 5:45. A front is trying to work its way through the state as we go through the day today. There's a low-pressure system that was over Minnesota. It's moved up into and around the lake, or I should say the Hudson Bay area in Canada, and it's dragging a front through. That front eventually is going to work its way through. It'll be late this afternoon and overnight tonight. As a result, we'll begin to see a little change in our wind direction, not so much the wind speed. Right now, we've got a southerly breeze under 10 miles per hour. Eventually, it is going to change and become northwesterly. That'll be after midnight on this evening and into the day tomorrow, and then it'll actually become a little bit more westerly. Matthew, what do you have on the thermometer as of right now?
Currently, over at the airport, it's partly sunny at 82. Over in Midland, it's partly sunny at 81. Here, Radio Center, it's cloudy at 82. We have south winds at 8 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 29.85, and it's falling.
We have had some spotty showers reported around the Great Lakes Bay Area, and for that matter, all across the state. Southeastern Michigan has had a little bit more in the way of rain shower activity. Adrian right now is reporting light rain. Hillsdale also with light rain. Monroe talking some light rain, and Marshall. Light rain. Up north, they've had a little bit too. Alpena, within the last hour, has reported some light rain shower activity. A little bit heavier over in the Harbor Springs area. They've had a heavy rain within the last half, 3/4 of an hour. But then you go to get up into the Upper Peninsula, not too much of anything now in the way of precipitation. They had some over the weekend up in the UP. And for all intents and purposes, they continue to be right on schedule, if not actually a little bit above normal when it comes to precipitation. There has been some areas where they have reported some flooding in the Upper Peninsula. Now, what's going to be happening here? A mix of sun and clouds as we go through the day. That front is going to slide through. We're going to have a pop-up shower here and there because of the unsettled air. We do have a high-pressure system that's eventually going to take over, but it is going to take until midnight tonight before we begin to see some of the effects of that high pressure. Early this evening, still some scattered showers around, and then ending all that activity after midnight tonight. We're looking for a high temperature of about 85, so we still have a few more degrees to go. Looking for a low tonight of 65. Sun will set this evening at 9:21, rise tomorrow morning at 5:57. Now, during the day tomorrow, it's going to be mostly sunny because that high pressure will be taking over the Kansas-Missouri area. It'll be a lot less humid for us here. 85, though, we're still going to be looking at mild temperatures above normal. 85 for a high, 63 for a low tomorrow night. Then moving into Wednesday, more in the way of sun. 86 for a high, 63 for a low. That high pressure over Kansas and Missouri is not really going anywhere for about 2 to 3 days. It's just going to stay there. As a result, very little, if any, chance of precipitation after midnight tonight through a good portion of the day on Friday, if not actually into later in the afternoon on Saturday. And during that period of time, we are going to be looking at our temperatures ranging just a little bit above normal. Normal for this time of the year is 82 in the afternoon and 61 at night. So the chances of precipitation will drop off rather dramatically as we go into the evening hours tonight. And we're not going to see much of anything in the way of moisture. Quite frankly, I think it'll be late in the day on Saturday or Saturday night, because as we approach the weekend, our temperatures are going to begin to warm up. On Thursday, we'll be about 85. On Friday, we'll be 86. Then on Saturday, we will hit 90 degrees. And along with that, the unsettled air, the higher humidities, that will bring on a chance of some showers. Best chance of rain shower activity will be late Saturday night, and into the early morning hours on Sunday. It'll cool us down a little bit on Sunday, but not very much, middle 80s for a high on Sunday. The above average temperature trend is going to continue all the way through the 13th of the month, and more than likely beyond that. Precipitation values will be at or slightly above normal. But again, the key word is slightly. We're not looking for much of the way of precipitation at all during that period of time. Record high in this state is 99, and that was set way back in 1964. The record low is 40, set in 1943. A year ago today, it was a nice day. 88 was our high, 63 was our low. We're going to be looking at the coldest ever, 30th of June. You got to go back to 1943. 70 was our high, 40 was our low. The warmest ever, 1931 was the warmest ever, 30th of June. Now, how are we doing as far as temperatures go for the month of June? We're running above normal. Matter of fact, in some cases, quite a bit above normal when it comes to the temperatures. Precipitation pattern, about 2.34 inches of rain out at MBS International Airport. A year ago, we're looking at a little bit more than that. And for the year, we're at 12.18 inches of precipitation. We're about 3 inches below where we should be this time of the year on average. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have?
Coming up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
Well, before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound-up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at RoofMax. AskBenHow.com. You want to have your roof estimated? You want them to take a look at it? A free roof estimate is available. All you got to do is go to AskBenHow.com, or you can give him a call at 989-859-6751. Why Ben? Why not somebody else? Well, I can speak from experience that when I called him, came out, and he gave me some options. My roof really wasn't that old, but it doesn't hurt to have it checked once in a while. And quite frankly, as long as the estimate's free, hey, let's get somebody up there who knows what roofs are all about and have them just check it out. Well, he checked it out, said there were a few places that needed to have some doctoring done. So he told me that he would take care of that. And then he gave me the option of his product called RoofMax. And basically what it did is it added many more years to my roof. The other thing that I noticed was not only did it look brand new and it looked bright and shiny, but that roof doesn't shed. Now, if you know what I mean by shed, the asphalt type shingles, they leave those little granule things in your gutter. Well, once they applied the treatment, I don't have that problem. Yeah, I've got the gutter guard and all this other stuff, but you still have to go up and scrape that stuff out come spring or fall. I haven't had to do that after my roof was treated by RoofMax. And again, as I said, the guys did a great job. They took care of it, and I've got more years for my roof. 989-859-6751. Again, 989-859-6751. Or just go online, askbenhow.com, because a little care today can save you a whole lot more tomorrow. We say good morning to Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Gary, hope you had a nice weekend.
I sure did. Hopefully you did as well, Terry.
Sure did. Got a lot of work done.
Well, good. I'm glad you did.
We've been mowing the lawn on a regular basis. I'm sure Jerry Samolsky'd be happy with that. But we haven't had the issues, the problems, and from what I'm understanding, as far as farmers out there, they don't seem to be having a lot of issues and problems with the insects. So things are really looking good right now.
Yeah, this year, it doesn't matter what crop you're growing. Maybe some issues with the dry beans with some of the hard rains, but I mean, the conditions have been ideal, and not only in our own backyards, but across the country. And so that's just put a lot of pressure on the markets here lately, for sure. So
I haven't had a chance to talk to Joe Kramer lately, but I don't know if you're seeing it or not, Gary, but I'm seeing a few more dry bean fields around the neighborhood than what I've seen for the past few years.
Yeah, especially, with the suppressed grain prices. Yeah, I think some guys kind of maybe put a few more acres of dry beans in, and hopefully, that all that comes to fruition for them, as we, look to get, those sold here with the tariff talk and where we can take them and whatnot. But yeah, definitely agree. A little more dry beans in the ground for sure.
Well, and of course, the reason why we're talking about it right now is, don't we have a government report coming out today?
Yep, today is report day, and we kind of view this day as kind of an inflection point for the market. It's kind of a signal for what price direction we could look like for the remainder of the summer. As we just talked about this year, corn and soybeans kind of feel like they're backed into a corner, and can they fight their way out of the corner? We've pretty much had ideal growing conditions across the Midwest, and of course, South America's crop is getting bigger from what I'm hearing. So we need some kind of a bullish surprise, and will we get it out of this report today? Hard to say on the acres, because I think we're going to have a slight increase in corn acres, and maybe not as much as they anticipated early on in the March report, but because some of the weather, I think some acres got tilted towards soybeans. So, but the average guesstimate today, Terry, for corn is 95.2 million acres, and then on the soybeans, it's 83.1 or 83.6 million acres. So, but the surprise, as what's happened in the past, has come in the grain stocks. Have we exported? The export's been good on corn, so maybe that carryout number is going to get a little tighter. And then if we get some hot, dry conditions during pollination, there could be our spark, as we're looking for. We need something. But yeah, we could get it, maybe in the stocks report, we could get a little bit of surprise, but acres, I think, is pretty well going to be neutral for sure. So.
All right. So on the board right now, at least the last time I looked, soybeans were doing pretty good.
Yeah, we got a couple pauses on the board to start the week with here, Terry, after a kind of a dismal week last week. But currently, let's call cash and new crop wheat up 3, Terry, at $5.29 on the white, $4.49 on the red. Cash corn down a penny right now at $3.56. New crop also down a penny at $3.61. Cash and new crop soybeans, let's call it up 10, Terry, at $9.55.
Gary, you have yourself a great day. Good to talk. We'll see how that report comes out.
Sounds good. You too, Terry. Thank
All righty.
you.
Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Over to Oppenheimer we go with Doug Klein. The market report brought to you by Thumb Bank, working with agriculture since 1895. Farming today, many challenges. Thumb Bank keeps up with those changes as well as industry trends and the changes of your operation. Thumb Bank, 13 locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay, including Freeland, where relationships are built on trust. Thumb Bank. Market Report also brought to you by Michigan Truck Spring of Saginaw, your complete parts and service headquarters for light, medium, heavy-duty trucks and trailers, as well as buses and recreational vehicles. Quality parts, quality service, very competitive prices. They've been doing it for well over 45 years. 800-358-4751 or buy online at truckspring.com. Incidentally, coming up a little bit later on, Laken Russell will be joining us. And Laken, we were talking a little bit about the soybeans. We're going to talk more about the beans coming up.
They are, and they are partnering with the dairy industry to increase butterfat in dairy cattle.
Oh, there you go. So a lot more coming up on the soybeans. Let's check in with Doug Klein, see what's going on today. Doug, you had a nice weekend, did you?
Oh, just wonderful.
I'm glad you did. I'll tell you, it was, yesterday was a little warm.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, I had to work outside, huh?
Well, I was underneath the dock, looking for weeds and stuff, to get out of the lake. And yeah. So.
You're supposed to be above the dock.
I was just hiding out of the sun in the water.
Oh, there you go. I don't know either. Well, are the boys in Chicago under the dock today, or what are they up to?
They're doing pretty good today. A little bit of a bounce there. Hopefully we don't find any sellers. That's the key. Once you run out of sellers, you got some upside potential. So that's what we hope for. We've run out of sellers in the stock market for sure. S&P hit a new high today. So did the QQQs, the NASDAQ. So that's hot. Crude oil, no buyers anyway, under 65 on the crudes. That's okay. Not much going on in precious metals, under 1% going on there. Either way, natural gas kind of getting pounded today, down about 7%. But I think they were up 7% on Friday, so that's just a wild child. So here's your numbers. The July corn is 422, up 4.5. December corn 427 3/4, up 3/4 of a penny. July soybeans 1038 1/4, up 10.5. The November soybeans 1037 1/2, up 12 3/4. July wheat is 529 1/2, up 4 3/4, and December wheat 565 1/2, up 2.5. Crude oil is 64.70, down 82 cents. Heating oil is 234.30, that's up 3.5 cents. Gasoline 208 1/2, down 1/2 penny. Natural gas is 349 1/2, down 25 1/2 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, US dollar buys $1.3620 Canadian, that's down 61 ticks. The dollar buys 144.23 yen, down 40 ticks. The euro's at 117.61, still going up 42 ticks. The dollar is at 97.05, still going down 34.5 ticks. Gold's at 32.8610, up $12.40. Silver is 35.80, down 23 cents. Platinum's at 1346.30, up $5.40, and copper's at 508.25, down 4 cents.
Doug, you have a great day, okay?
Thanks. Yep, you too.
Talk to you later. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. Vic Huffer has been answering a lot of questions. He's been a busy guy. We've tried to get a hold of him for the past 3 days or so to have him chat with you on the air. Well, he's been fielding a lot of calls for a very good reason, because things are really popping out there, especially with whatever moisture we have been getting. And even some dry conditions and some concerns there. So Vic does have answers to the questions you might have. All you got to do is just give him a call. And don't forget, they've got a great selection of products from Sure Crop and Nature's that'll help you increase your yields as you go through the growing season, Mr. Farmer. Serving you is their business. They've been doing it since 1983. It's Freeland Bean and Grain. Let's find out how the sugar beet industry is doing these days. Mighty good looking beets out there. Rob Stoutenberg joining me right now. Rob's report brought to you by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil and Blue Flame Propane. Rob, good morning.
Morning, Terry. How you doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty good. You're out and about today.
Oh, yeah. I'm heading to see our north beets up in the Beaverton area right now. But overall, we got a really, really good crop out there. It's taken the heat units we're getting, the rain, and just growing like a weed.
Now, I'm kind of curious because I thought that we were doing pretty good on moisture, and then I saw the government report come out from the weather folks telling us that some sections of the Great Lakes Bay Area were actually in not only drought but extreme drought conditions. Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, it's pretty much from last year's drought. Even though we're getting good rains, we still got to fill those reservoirs up in some areas. I don't want to say we need 3-inch rains, but we need keep getting these consistent rains and get us out of that drought stage that some of the areas are in.
Now, we're seeing some very impressive canopies out there, and I have seen some pictures from a few growers that have sent them my way. There's some pretty good-looking small sugar beets out there.
Oh, absolutely. We're on track for a very, very good crop. I just hope it doesn't shut off like last year when it stopped raining. If we keep getting these consistent, good temperatures, the potential for a very, very good crop is there. The only thing that's kind of popping up right now is water hemp. It's showing up in patches, and we're trying to get that taken care of so it doesn't impact the crop that much.
Other than the water hemp, what about insects? Has it been pretty low count right now with those?
Yeah, right now, not much for insects. Growers are out spraying fungicides for Scospra. I'm not hearing much about seeing active infections with the disease, but that's probably due in part to everyone having a solid spray program and getting out there ahead of the disease. So,
suggestion for our growers, Rob?
I would say stay on your spray regimens, and if you see a problem in the field, contact our agronomy team. We'll be out there and we'll address it.
Very good. You take care. Have a great day, Rob.
All right, you too. Thanks, Terry.
You betcha. Rob Sautenberg with Michigan Sugar Company. Foster Blue Water Oil, Blue Flame Propane. Yeah, they supply fuel, propane, lubricants, diesel exhaust fluid, energy services. They've been doing it for over 80 years. Foster Blue Water Oil and Blue Flame Propane. They can be a part of your farming experience. We'll be right back. Summer's here, and whether you're growing corn or cucumbers, your plants are working hard. Make sure your soil's working just as hard with a boost from Dairy Dew. At Morgan Composting, we know that healthy soil holds water better, makes nutrients more available, and keeps plants stronger, even through summer heat. Our products are loaded with microbial life, humic and fulvic acids, and natural nutrients that build real soil structure. Use Bloom Blaster or Veggie Blaster in your garden for a vibrant harvest, or go to a custom blend tailored for your farm's needs. We've got organic options for row crops, hay, and pasture too. Don't just fertilize, feed the soil. You'll see stronger roots, better yields, and more resilient growing season. Find us at dairydew.com or visit Morgan Composting and grow healthy from the ground up.
Healthy plants come from healthy soil. Healthy soil comes from Dairy Dew.
If you need some tree trimming, tree removal, you need Legendary Tree Care. No job is too big or too small. They're fully licensed and insured. And they do specialize in big projects. LegendaryTreeCare.com or like them on Facebook. Jerry Samalski joining us right now from Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. And Jerry, homeowners getting a lot of work done over the weekend.
Yes, they are, and they're noticing sometimes they've got powdery mildew on some plants, and that seems to be popping up with the heat and humidity we've been having. And powdery mildew, it's a fungus, and so any fungus, they need 3 different things to complete their life cycle. They need the pathogen, which that's who they are. They need weather conditions, and they need a host. So most plants and most plants that get powdery mildew have a predisposition to it. So powdery mildew on your hollyhocks will not be the same powdery mildew as on your phlox. So just because you have it, don't panic and say, oh, it's going to get on everything. It won't. It's very host specific. So, and typically, you can spray for them, but it's more unsightly than it is troublesome unless it gets horrible, and typically will not. But you're better off to choose a better variety or a different plant than to have to spray every year, maybe 2 to 3 times a year to keep powdery mildew off a plant.
Good advice.
Yeah, we just want to make sure we choose good varieties that are resistant, and just like the farmers do in their fields, choosing the best product they can and get it out there, they'll have a lot more success.
There we go. Jerry, thank you so much. Talk again tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Lakin Du Russell joining me right now. And Lakin, talk a little bit about the pairing between the soybean industry and the dairy industry.
Yes, soybean growers have a new reason for increasing the number of acres planted to benefit the dairy industry. 16 states are involved in growing high oleic soybeans with the soybean checkoff. 35% of high oleic soybeans are used in dairy rations, and these soybeans can improve milk production by 10 pounds per cow. In high oleic soybeans, the percentage of oleic acid is close to 75%. This higher concentration of oleic fatty acids is much more rumen-friendly, reducing the risk of milk fat depression. Farmers have access to 21 varieties of high oleic soybeans in 2024, and feeding these soybeans to dairy cows continues to gain interest across the Midwest, and several farms planted high oleic soybeans this spring for the very first time.
Oh, very interesting. Thanks a lot, Lakin.
You're welcome.
Lakin Du Russell. We'll be right back.
When it comes to strength, reliability, and performance, nothing beats a Power Lift hydraulic door. Built right here in Marlette, Michigan, our custom hydraulic doors are designed for your toughest jobs. Agriculture, aviation, commercial, and more. The price we give is an installed price, and you'll deal with one point of contact from start to finish. To schedule your Power Lift door consultation, call 989-635-8017 or visit PowerLiftDoorsMI.com. Power Lift Hydraulic Doors of Michigan. When you need it done right, we lift you above the rest.
Farm Service has been brought to you today by the folks at Ed Raymond's, quality clothing and shoes since over 100 years. 151 West Broad Street in Chesaning. Ed Raymond's, quality clothing and shoes for a long time, 1919. We now conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.